Good morning students. Today I am going to show you a program in Java practically to demonstrate the use of the JPasswordField and JOption classes. It will accept a username and a password and then validate them and print suitable messages. Now before I show you the Java program, let me first minimize this notepad window. Now here is the design interface of your Java program. The interface consists of a rectangular shaped form, and inside the form there are controls such as the labels username and password, the text field box associated with the label username, the password field box associated with the label password, and two buttons labeled as cancel and OK. Now this form has been created inside a project named as my password, and the entire Java program that you are going to type is under the project called my password. So this is the design interface of your Java program, and this is the source, okay, which consists of the Java code. Now let's try to understand the workflow of this design interface. The username and the password that you are going to type in the text fields and the password fields has to be checked whether it is valid or not. The correct username and the correct password is stored in the database, and the username and the password that you are going to type here will be checked for with the username and password in the database. If it matches, then on clicking the OK button, it will generate a message dialog, okay, which will present you with the message, welcome, you have logged in successfully. But if it does not match, then it will present you with a different message, that is, sorry, invalid username or password. Now before I show you the piece of Java code that gets executed on clicking this OK button, let's come to know about the classes for these controls. For this label control with the text username, the class name is JLabel1 as shown in this properties window. For the label control identified with the text password, the corresponding class name is JLabel2 as shown in this properties window. For the text field control, the corresponding class name is JTextField1, and again for the password field control, the corresponding class name is JPasswordField1. For the controls cancel and OK, which are the buttons, okay, so let's start with the first button, cancel. The class name for this cancel button is JButton1, and the class name for this OK button is JButton2 as shown in this properties window. Now clicking these buttons cancel or OK initiates an event, and when the event occurs, a piece of Java code shall get executed on the click of these buttons. Now let me show you the piece of Java code that gets executed on clicking this OK button. Now if you click this OK button, it will lead you to a method called JButton2 action performed. This method shall be called with the help of the class called JButton2 of the OK button control. And inside the body of this method, here is the Java piece of code that shall get executed. At first, two variables username and password has been declared of data type string, and that's why they can accept only string values. Now note that a string may consist of a group of characters where each character can be an alphabet such as A to Z from the English alphabet, 0 to 9 as numeric digits, and certain symbols such as hash symbol, dollar symbol, question mark symbol, colon symbol, semicolon symbol, etc. So a group of characters forms a string, and these variables username and password, since they are declared of data type a string, so they can accept only string values. Now see the second line. The second line says username equal to jtextfield1 dot get text. Now jtextfield1 is the class name for this text field, and using the class name jtextfield1, it is invoking or calling the get text method so that it can grab the content of this text field, and once it grabs the content of this text field using the get text method, it then stores the content into the string variable called username using the expression username equal to jtextfield1 dot get text. Now again, for the password field control, the class name is JPasswordField1. So using the class name, that is JPasswordField1, it is calling the getPassword method to grab the content of the password field, and once it grabs the content of the password field using the JPasswordField method, it then stores the content into a variable called password, and that is shown here, password equal to string dot value of within bracket. With the help of the class name JPasswordField1, it invokes the getPassword method using the dot operator. But before it stores the content into the variable called password, it converts the content into string, okay, using the string class and the value of method of the string class. This is because the content inside the password field are not string by default, so they has to be converted into the string type using the value of method of the class string before it gets stored into the string variable called password. But if we look at the text field, the content inside the text field is already string by default, so we don't have to use the value of method of the string class to again convert it into string before storing it in the string variable called username. Now once you store the content of the text field and the content of the password field into the variables username and password, so that username and password shall be compared with the values of the username and password stored in the database. Now if it matches, it will display a message dialog, okay, with the message welcome, you have logged in successfully. But this message shall get displayed only when the username and the password that you have specified in the text field and the password field matches with the database. That is, if the username equals Java and the password equals Java@123. Now note that this double ampersand means AND, okay. So in Java, this double ampersand denotes AND. So this condition is checking if username dot equals Java and password dot equals Java@123. That means if username is equal to Java and password is equal to Java@123 or not. Now if you type the correct username, which is Java, and correct password, that is Java@123, in the text field and password field respectively, then you shall see this message in the message dialog, which is welcome, you have logged in successfully. But if you do not type the correct username or the correct password, then you shall see the message inside the else clause, okay. The message says sorry, invalid username or password. Now see the first parameter of this show message dialog method. The first parameter represents the null layout, okay. Now the message dialog has different layouts, okay. Now if you type null here, the message dialog will be presented in the null layout. This method show message dialog belongs to the class JOptionPane. That is why using the class JOptionPane, it calls the method show message dialog using the dot operator to present you with the message welcome, you have logged in successfully. when you type the correct username and password, and also to present you with the message sorry invalid username or password when you type the wrong username and password. Now I shall explain this to you by running the program. Now let's come to the design again. Now you have to click on this run button. On doing that, you shall see the interface design that you have created. Now say for example I type the username as Amber and password as Apple. Now that the username which is stored in the database is Java and the password which is stored in the database is Java@123. That's why these username Amber and Apple that you have typed in this text field and password field do not match with the username stored in the database. So these are the wrong username and wrong password, and on clicking the OK button after typing these username and password, you will see the message dialog which will present you with the message which is sorry invalid username or password. So this indicates that you have typed the wrong username or the wrong password. Now again let me run this program. Now if I type the correct username and the correct password, since the correct username is Java and the correct password is Java@123, on typing this, if I click this OK button, it will show me the message dialog with the message welcome, you have logged in successfully. This is because I have typed the correct username and correct password in the text field and the password field respectively. So I hope you understood how the OK button works. Now let me explain you how does this cancel button works. Once you click this cancel button, a piece of Java code shall get executed. Okay, and let me show you. I shall double click this cancel button. Okay, and once you click on that cancel button, it will invoke this method, that is JButton1 action perform. This is because the class name for that cancel button is JButton1, and that you can see it here in the properties window. The class name is JButton1. So with the help of the class name JButton1, okay, it calls the JButton1 action perform method, okay, and then executes the set of Java statements inside the body of this method. Now the first statement checks whether the method show confirm dialog of the JOptionPane class, okay, with the arguments null layout and the text are you sure you want to exit holds true or not. Now for this confirmation dialog, you will have two options, yes, no, or sometimes in some cases you may have three options, yes, no and cancel. If you type yes, then this confirmation dialog, are you sure you want to exit, will hold true, and for that to happen, this confirmation dialog, okay, shall return 0, and that is represented as JOptionPane.showConfirm dialog with the arguments null and the text are you sure you want to exit is equal to 0. Equal to here is represented by double equal to. So double equal to checks whether this method called showConfirm dialog, okay, is equal to 0 or not. And when it's equal to 0, you have chosen the option yes, and once you have chosen the option yes, this method holds true, and then it calls the exit method of the class called system to exit from the Java program. and it is represented by the Java statement as system.exit 0 followed by semicolon. But instead of choosing the option yes in this confirmation dialog, if you choose the option no, then this method will not return 0. That is, the condition show confirm dialog with the arguments null and the text will not be equal to 0. So this condition in that case will return 0 and it will not satisfy. As a result, the statement system.exit 0 shall not be executed when you opt for the option no. Now let me repeat, if you choose the option no, then this method of the JOptionPane class, that is show confirm dialog with the arguments null, are you sure you want to exit, will not be equal to 0. So this condition will not hold true, and then the statement system.exit 0 shall not get executed. As a result, the program will not stop. It will remain wherever it is. Now let me run this program to help you understand. So let me visit this design section again. Now I shall run this program. Now if you click the cancel button, you are given three choices: yes, no, and cancel. If you click yes, okay, it shall call this system.exit method to exit the program. That's why in the confirmation dialog, when I have clicked yes, it actually called this system.exit method to stop the Java program, and that's why the Java program has ended. But instead of choosing yes, if I choose no, the Java program will not end. It will remain wherever it is. So you can see the Java form appearing again. So it depends upon the options, okay, the choices that have been presented to you. If you type yes, the Java program will end. If you type no, the Java program will not end. Okay. So just as I type no here, the Java program will remain wherever it is, and you can see that because the form is still visible, and when the form is visible, it indicates that the Java program has not ended. But when you choose the option as yes, okay, the form closes, and this indicates that the Java program has stopped. So this is all about this program, which uses the username entered by the user and the password entered by the password to be checked with the correct password and correct username in the database on the click of a button. And with this I end my presentation here. That's all for today.